my goodness. Thank you. All right. Bonjour. Nangadef. Ikloa. Mboluani. Don't worry, everyone. This talk will be fully in English. You might have recognized the first word that I said as a greeting in French. You might still be a little hesitant as the last three ones, and I will tell you, they are all also greetings in languages that I grew up hearing and that are part of my cultures. They actually are respectively Wolof, Tusian, and Fan. See, I was born in a small country in Central Africa, which is called Gabon, where we speak Fan. Additionally, my parents originate from Senegal, which is in West Africa, and where the primary language is Wolof, and Burkina Faso, also in West Africa, where we speak Tusian. Additionally, my mother's father is from Benin and Togo. So as you can imagine, I kind of start sweating a little when someone asks me, where are you from? I want to take us back to the meaning behind this title, the art of becoming a linguistic phoenix. See, according to Britannica.com, a phoenix is a mythological creature from ancient Egypt history. It is often interpreted as an allegory of resurrection for life after death. The phoenix burns and rises from its ashes to become this new vibrant form. I kind of wanted to take that allegory to talk about the process of learning a new language. See, just like a phoenix, you're going to have to burn along the way, crash. You're going to meet a lot of roadblocks. But if you focus on your goal, you will be able to rise from your ashes and become this new vibrant form. I want to take us back to my own journey with learning languages. See, one thing that Burkina Faso, Senegal, and Gabon all have in common is that they all use French as their official language. This is the language that I spoke for the first 14 years of my life. However, the average person in each of these countries is about trilingual. As a matter of fact, my mother knows 4 languages, my father speaks 6. I know. Unfortunately, though, with the rise of globalization, there has been a decline in fluency in native languages for this newer generation, and I am part of that lot. It's not like I never tried, but I am still working on my craft. Nevertheless, I was never really comfortable or satisfied with just being monolingual. I've always loved learning about new cultures, being able to connect with people, communicate, and I knew that I would be too limited and restricted with only knowing French. So I decided to learn the most accessible language, English. In order to do that, I knew that I needed, or at least wanted, to join an American school where I could have an all-immersive experience. Unfortunately, Gabon did not have any such type of school, so I had to move to Senegal. Upon enrolling into this new school, I was told that I would have to enroll into the English as a Second Language, or ESL program. I was actually pretty excited about it. I thought, wow, I'm going to have some personalized lesson with my teacher, and when my fluency gets better, I'm going to be able to join regular classes with the native-speaking students. I was wrong. On my first day, I was thrown into a health class where I was told that we had an assignment due the next day, an exam coming up, as well as a project. Can you imagine? At the time, all I knew how to say was, "Hello, how are you? I'm good, thank you. And you?" I mean, I didn't even understand what the teacher was asking me. I had to wait for the only French-speaking student in the class to translate everything back to me. So it was that day that I realized that the language barrier was much higher than I had expected. And that added to the fact that I was away from my parents at a really young age. I had to adapt to this new academic system, this new environment. I kind of started isolating myself, and it was reflected in my fluency as I was making very little progress. It all changed though one day. The school's director called me into his office, sat me down, and asked me to consider transferring back into a French-speaking school. Apparently, I was making no progress in the language, and I was bringing the school's level down. That was like a slap in the face. I had made so much sacrifices to get to where I was, and I was trying, but I was basically met with a closed door. He ended his speech by asking me to consider his words and do what is best for everyone. I left his office completely helpless. But then, anger snuck in. One thing about anger, it is a fuel for other emotions. And at that point, it was motivation. That day, I decided that I would become the best English speaker he had ever seen in his life. And I would graduate from that school he told me to transfer from. But in order to do so, I needed to change my game plan. So I started slow, I started to incorporate everyday activities into my learning process. I would watch a show or a movie in English and have French subtitles. I would read a book in English and always make sure to have the translation and write them down into a glossary that I could always look back on. That would really help me with my auditory and comprehension skills. Then I had to improve my speech. So I turned to one of my favorites, Disney. Every day during ESL classes, my teacher and I would sit down and just learn and watch a bunch of Disney songs. And I would learn the lyrics to them. And that really helped me with my pronunciation. Then I wanted to continue improving on my speech. So I decided to really come out of my comfort zone and decided to become more involved in the school activities. Every opportunity that I was given, I would just take it. I became a class officer, I was in the school play, and I even ended up joining university sports. Now, I want to give you guys a little bit of a guideline on how you can start your own language journey. First, you have to start with a humble attitude. You have to understand you will no longer be the smartest person in the room. You will probably have the level of a 2-year-old, even maybe younger. That is okay. You also have to expect and accept failure. There will be times when you're going to work for an entire week and be prepared to have a conversation with someone. And when you have it, that person will tell you that you pronounced something wrong or you conjugated the verb wrong. That is part of the process. You have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Nobody likes to fail. You have to take that opportunity and that moment as a learning curve and move on from it. You have to immerse yourself in the culture. See, when I learned English, I didn't just want to learn about American English. I wanted to learn about British English, Nigerian English, Kenyan English, South African English. Because within all these languages, there's dialect, there's slangs. And I wanted to really be able to communicate with a broader group of people and connect with them on a more personal level. You have to keep your eyes on the prize. Like I said, there's going to be failure. There's a lot of roadblocks, challenges along the way. But if you keep in mind that goal, you'll make it. You have to stay curious. You never stop learning. To this day, I still learn a new word in English every day. You have to continue learning and really working on your craft. Now, I also want to give you guys some advantages that comes with doing all this work. You get to break your own barriers. You have to do a lot of self-digging, self-discovery too, when you have to start with that humble attitude. You also get to earn a new perspective on life and become a chameleon, moving from one group to another. When you get to make this connection with these people, they give you their perspective on life, which just enriches your own life experiences. And you also get to rise from the ground up. You get to see all the work you've done so far. Think about myself as a 14-year-old that could barely say hello white. And I see all the challenges that I had to face and everything that I was able to accomplish. I'm very excited to tell you all that I was able to achieve my goal and graduate from that school 4 years later. Thank you. Thank you. And I am now about to graduate from college. And I'm giving you guys all a TED Talk in a language that I was told to stop learning, right? Indeed. So all of this taught me that, I had to burn a lot along the way, but I was able to rise from my ashes, and now you get to all witness this new vibrant form that I'm in. And I want you all to live today and be ready to become your own linguistic phoenix. So on that note, merci, Jerejef, Ikloa, Abora, thank you.